Welcome to a Reddit and Read video now. Cashiers of Reddit. What's been the most interesting reaction you've experienced when someone's gotten their card declined? I was working at a mega bookstore. A man came up with 2 or 3 serious philosophy books. Then he flicked his credit card at me. Don't do that to a cashier. Just don't. I said nothing and swiped his card. It declined. The screen asked me to call Amex. I tell the customer I have to call. He hisses at me not to say it so loud. I had a phone with me, so I made the call right there standing at the register. Amex tells me to confiscate the card if you believe you can do that. So I say sorry. They tell me I have to take your card. He screams, "My mother is a cunt. She cut me off." I cut the card in half. I still feel good about that day. I had a customer that was yelling in multiple languages in my lobby, demanding a refund onto his gift cards. We had already made his drinks, but he said it took too long. Smoothie shop. Midsummer. It's going to take a bit always. The guy wouldn't stop yelling. Was trying to take other customers' smoothies to replace his, even though his were in his hands all good. After trying to convince him that I absolutely cannot give him a refund on the gift card without the actual gift card and hash, he finally walked up to the register, deliberately knocking over 2 stanchions with a guided rope between them, then proceeded to flick the 2 gift cards at me, both missing and going over my shoulder. The craziest part is, in the end, he actually didn't pay on the gift cards. He paid in cash. Wanted the smoothies refunds put on these non-reloadable gift cards, but also to keep the smoothie. At that point I went to hand him back the cards. He dropped his smoothie, one was mostly gone, and kept the other, and just walked out the door. Left $50 in gift cards. Utterly astounding interaction. Edit. Banister changed to stanchion, because that's badass. Thank it Reddit for the till. The other day a woman left 4 kids as collateral while she spent an hour finding her card. One lady gave me her card and asked for scissors to cut up her old one. She was cutting as her card I was running got declined. She cut up the wrong one. Nothing I could do. She was pissed. I once had a woman scream at me and call me a bitch. Then she dumped her purse out and started showing me expensive makeup to prove she's not poor and broke. Could I afford a $50 lipstick if I were broke? No, I could not. It was a lipstick that normally sells for $25 or so anyway. She demanded I push it through, like I had any ability to do something like that. The manager came up and told her she had to leave because we couldn't push a transaction through a declined card. I had a lady break down and start crying. While she was in line, she already looked like her world was falling apart. I don't remember what it is she bought, but I don't think it was more than $30, and the guy behind her offered to pay for it. More crying ensued. This happened to a friend, but I worked at the same place at the time. My friend swiped a college kid's card and it declined. Well, this kid very calmly said, "Oh, my parents must have cut me off. Excuse me," then proceeds to get out of line, walk a few feet away to call his parents. Once said parents answered the phone, the kid proceeds to yell at his parents and insist that they give him money, all within earshot of everyone around the register. Edit. To clarify, this was at the food court and he was at the coffee place, so he either was getting coffee or some sort of baked good. So his reaction was over something insignificant. Not a cash register but our atmosphere. Card declined for insufficient funds. Lady says, "Oh, what a shame. This ATM must be out of money." Yep, that must be it. Edit. Just to clarify, the ATM continued to work for other customers the rest of the day. Everyone was pretty chill during my years in retail. They either paid cash or asked me to hold things so they could hit the atmosphere. And this was not an affluent area by any stretch, so fairly common occurrence. I did get one person who was in denial and went through every credit, debit card in their wallet. 8 total. I almost thought the machine was broken until the next person in line had no issues whatsoever. Mrs. 8 card was not amused but couldn't do anything. Never saw her again. Just the other day I had a lady whose card got declined. Her response was to try it about 6 more times. Then it hit her. She works at a resale shop and had to use a big magnet for jewelry or something. She forgot to take her card out of her pocket and long story short, she managed to demagnetize her card. Her solution was to run home and grab cash, which wouldn't have been a big deal except she ran her food stamp card first. And the register physically will not let me do anything except finish tendering. So I had to cash her out, return the non-food items, hold them until she got back, and re-ring theme is here. And yes, she spent a good 5 minutes ranting about how I was conspiring against her until she figured out what happened. Edit, because a lot of people are asking. I couldn't key in her card number manually because I have to have the card in my hand to do it, and the customer refused to give it to me. On the receiving end, I was working in construction pretty far from home, and for lunch I went to get a $8 custom sandwich from a fancy grocery store. At the register my card got declined, and when it did I immediately checked my phone and saw I had a zero balance. I told the lady, "Sorry, I can't pay for this." And she said, "Wait, hold on," and called a few people over, and she ended up paying for it for me. I still remember her face. I tried to pay her back after my next payday, but she said, "No, I don't want it. I like to help, and I imagine other people will do the same." I will never forget her. She turned what would have been a depressing day into something I will never forget. Edit, grammar. We see a fairly clever smoke and mirrors routine at my liquor store. Customer comes in, walks to the spirits hard liquor section and puts one bottle under their shirt while picking up a second and walking back to the register with it. They attempt to buy the second bottle with a card that they know will decline. Then they say they have to call their bank and dial a number as they leave. Misdirection works. I was told to be quiet and polite when explaining that a card wasn't working. So when the transaction was declined, I tried to keep my voice down. Older gentleman with family asked me to speak up. He still couldn't hear me. His family laughed and said something like, "You daft bugger. The card's been declined." Single quote. He laughed, said he used the wrong card. Fortunately, the other one worked. At least it was a positive reaction. Cashier at a drive-thru. I took his card at the first window. Told him it was declined. He says, "Alright, I'll just go, I guess." He pulls up to the next window, demands food, then slams on the gas, pulling away, almost crashing into another car. That boy wanted his Wendy's. I had this one lady who just kept making me re-scan it over and over and over again, until eventually my manager had to shoo her away. She was clearly desperate, but I worked at a store where nothing we sold was necessary for daily life. Literally, nothing. So I didn't have much sympathy. Mostly, it's just, "Oh no, that should definitely go through. Try it again." Fails. "Let me check the bank." Calls and bitches at bank for a bit. "Now try." Works. I had one lady who screamed and accused me of purposely making her card decline to embarrass her. As if a 16-year-old making minimum wage somehow could manage that, or would have any reason to do that to a stranger. I had a lady hand me a card. It was declined. She then pulled out her wallet and handed me easily 30 more cards and said, "Just scan them till one goes through, hunna." That was just odd. Edit. Okay, there are way too many comments asking the same question, so I will answer them here. All of the cards had the same name on them and I checked ID. However, that being the case, we still notified the authorities as a precaution. Also, the system we used did not have a void all button programmed in it, so we had to shut down my lane and rescan everything. This was at a hobby store, so imagine scanning a bunch of post-it notes, napkins, and various other small items. Several years ago, day after Christmas at Target, woman has 3 carts full of markdown Christmas merchandise. My scanner was broken, so had to hand type each UPS code in by hand. Needless to say, it took a while. Customer snottily complains about how much I was inconveniencing her by taking so long. Finally finished ringing up her purchases and she hands me a card. Declined. She had me run it again. Declined again. Sighing outrageously, she pulls out her wallet and flips it open. I swear the woman had like 20 credit cards. She starts wiggling her fingers over them like she's picking a tarot card. Hands a new card to me. Declined. Another card. Declined. Has me try several cards more. All declined. Finally, super pissed, she writes me a check. In mounting glee, I tell her it's declined also. She slams her front card away and stomps out the exit. Lady behind her asks if her items are up for grabs. I say up and proceed to watch as a horde of people ravage the contents of the carts. It was awesome. Like watching sharks eat chumasaur. I had a guy who pulled cash out of his wallet to pay. But before he handed it to me, he stopped and said, "Oh wait, I can earn points on my card." So he got his card out and swiped. Declined. Tried again. Declined. So he says never mind and just leaves his stuff. It was only like $40 bucks. But I was like, you don't want it because you can't get points. No clue what that was all about. Thanks for watching a Reddit and Read video. Make sure to like and subscribe for new content.